This installation video is for Delta Control's Thermocouple models HTX, HTP, HTS, and HTV on non-vertical nozzles. Depending on the nozzle flange size, accessories can include Model HRW refractory thermowell, Model HNP refractory nozzle packing kit, and Model HMB mounting bars. In non-vertical installations, it can be difficult to maintain alignment of the thermocouple as it is inserted into the nozzle. Misalignment can cause breakage. Model HMB mounting bars are used to guide the thermocouple as it is inserted into the nozzle. Required tools include a measuring tape and a large screwdriver, lever bar, or adjustable wrench. When the unit leaves the factory, it is equipped with a sand-filled protective shipping tube. Carefully remove the thermocouple from the carton and move it to an area where the sand can be safely emptied. Remove the end cap flange from the end of the steel protective shipping pipe. Turn the thermocouple upright to pour out the sand into a container. Carefully loosen the protective tube by inserting the tip of a large screwdriver or similar robust tool into the lug welded to the protective pipe and using it as a lever, twist the pipe to loosen it to permit easy removal by hand at the installation site. Be sure to leave the pipe in place until the thermocouple is to be inserted into the vessel nozzle. Before installation, inspect the inside of the vessel nozzle. The inside of the nozzle should be clean and free from debris and welding slag. The exposed refractory surface should be even and free from extensive damage. The bored hole through the refractory should be clean, centered in the nozzle, and in perpendicular alignment relative to the nozzle flange face. Then, check the nozzle and refractory dimensions. First, measure the as-built refractory thickness by laying a straight edge across the flange face and with a measuring tape, hook the inside surface, or hot face, of the refractory inside the vessel and measure up the straight edge. Confirm this dimension is the same as the length of the thermocouple primary thermowell as measured from the thermocouple flange to the tip of the thermowell, shown here as insertion length U. Next, measure just the refractory thickness with a measuring tape. Confirm this distance matches the length of the straight portion of the HRW refractory thermowell as shown. Carefully insert Model HRW refractory thermowell into the hole in the refractory. The collar of the HRW should rest flat against the refractory surface, and the tip should extend about 1 inch or 25 millimeters beyond the refractory into the reactor vessel. The fit should be somewhat loose. Ensure proper clearance prior to thermocouple insertion by measuring from the bottom of the HRW refractory thermowell up to the flange face. The distance should be approximately 1 inch or 25 millimeters longer than the insertion length of the primary thermowell, shown here as insertion length U. Caution: if there are any discrepancies in the measured refractory thickness, insertion length, or refractory thermowell length of more than 1/2 inch or 12 millimeters, then do not proceed with the installation until the dimensional discrepancies have been resolved. Consult the manual for information on correcting the discrepancies. Place the 2 soft compressible collar rings from the Model HNP refractory nozzle packing kit, having an inside diameter of 2.75 inches or 70 millimeters around the refractory thermowell collar. They should fill the gap between the outside of the thermowell collar and the inside of the vessel nozzle. Place approximately 8 to 10 each of the soft compressible nozzle rings in the bottom of the nozzle. Ensure that the center holes are in alignment. Place enough of the rigid pressed 1.5 inch or 38 millimeter thick rings into the nozzle so that half of the top ring extends above the flange. If needed, remove or insert additional lower soft rings to obtain this fit. Insert an R-clip into the appropriate hole near the threaded end of each of the mounting bars. Place the threaded end of the mounting bar into a vessel nozzle flange bolt hole as shown. Secure the bar to the flange with the provided nut. Then install the other mounting bar on the opposite bolt hole. Make sure the R-clips are not on the flange face. Place the flange gasket. The studs will temporarily hold the flange gasket in position. Place studs in the top and bottom holes. Please note, the thermocouple is heavy and the ceramic primary thermowell may be easily broken. During the following steps, do not allow any sideways forces to be exerted on the ceramic parts. Carefully remove the protective pipe from the thermocouple and place it in a safe location. Confirm that the thermowell is not damaged. If the thermocouple is broken, it must be repaired prior to installation. Make sure the thermocouple unit is correctly rotated so that the flush and wiring connections are oriented in the desired direction. Allow the mounting bars to support the weight of the thermocouple as it is carefully guided into position. Carefully slide the thermocouple into the nozzle. Loosely install studs and nuts in all empty holes to hold the thermocouple in place as the guide bars are removed. Using a large screwdriver or pliers, pull the R-clips. Then remove the mounting bar nuts and the mounting bars. Install the remaining studs and nuts. Assure the flange and gasket is centered. Tighten all to specification. Install instrument conduit, wiring, and flush gas tubing if required.